Good morning.
That's it. Hopefully the classes aren't like this.
All right, good morning all. Welcome. Hey Matt, good morning. Good morning all. Okay, let's get seated so we can get started. That's right. Timing is a valuable commodity, according to the mayor. All right, thanks for coming. Tommy, good morning. All right, Warren's ready. Warren's ready. Now we can start.
Where are you? I haven't even.
All righty.
Oh. How are you? How are you?
All right, good morning all.
I'm not sure where everybody. I haven't even had a chance to look at name tags.
Okay, it's 8:32. We're going to get started. And thank you for joining. We're at the Horizon Council General Membership Meeting. This meeting is being recorded. My name is Guido Minaya, and we are here on November 22nd, 2024 at Florida Southwestern State College. So thank you so much for being our hosts. And let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Thank you. And now we'll start with introductions. Oh, one quick note. We have to do the approval of the minutes after the intro. Okay, why don't we start there? Bev, if you could state your full name because it's being recorded. Robert Colt, second. All in favor? Aye. All right, perfect. Now if we can do the introductions.
Good morning, everyone. Mark Moore, Assistant County Manager, representing Dave Harner, County Manager.
Good morning, everyone. Robert Cody, Assistant County Manager.
Good morning and welcome, everyone. Jeff Albritton, President here at Florida Southwestern. Go Bucks.
Good morning, everyone. Kevin Anderson, Public Servant with the City of Fort Myers.
Good morning, Rachel Kaduke, Cape Coral City Council.
Matt Repsdorf, Rising Council Secretary.
Ben Spence, Rising Council Treasurer.
Karen Moore, Southwest Florida Business Today, and Supplier Diversity Committee Chair.
Good morning, Adam Palmer, LQ Commercial Sports Council Chair.
Morning, everyone. Richard Aiken, Bylaws Task Force.
Morning, Butch Swank, Goodlight and Swank Insurance.
Good morning, Shelby Baucom, STEM to Career Connections Chair.
Good morning, Robbie Repsdorf with Edison National Bank, Bank of the Islands, and I represent the IDA.
Good morning, Steve Hennigan, Executive Director, Lee County Port Authority.
Good morning, Ken Savage, Deputy Superintendent, School District, Lee County.
Good morning, Amy McLaughlin, Florida Gulf Coast University. Go Eagles.
Doug Geyer of S4J Manufacturing, representing the Industrial Development Authority.
Good morning. I'm Tom Houlihan, representing the Industrial Development Authority.
Robert Golds, Greater Fort Myers Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning, Mark Bluss, Prombrooker Restaurant Group, representing the Sanibel Captiva Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning, Troy Bolivar, Southwest Florida Inc.
Good morning, Gary Tasman, Cushman Wakefield Commercial Property, Southwest Florida. Oh, and Business Issues Chairman.
Good morning, Tom Yoder with ReWorld, formerly Covanta Energy.
Good morning, Randy Chris Commercial Group, representing the Lee County Port Authority Airport Special Management Committee.
Good morning, Ryan Richards, RG Architects, representing the American Institute of Architects.
Good morning, Molly Scott with Christel Construction, representing Associated Builders and Contractors.
Good morning, Dusty Shelton, Cape Coral Council for Progress.
Good morning, Mike Biskey, B&I Contractors, representing CareerSource, Southwest Florida.
Good morning, Jay Johnson, Bubba's Roadhouse, representing the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association.
Morning, Megan Baskin, FGCU, Go Eagles, representing Leadership Next.
Good morning, Richard Durling with Marvin Homes, representing the Lee Building Industry Association.
Good morning, Julie Ramirez. I'm the Executive Director of Lee County Medical Society.
Hello, Lori Moore with Retzel and Andros, representing the Real Estate Investment Society.
Good morning, Karen Borelli, Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association.
Eileen Buchanan, Southwest Florida SCORE Chapter.
Good morning, Nancy Carista Sherm, Southwest Florida.
Good morning, Pam Whitnauer Bratton, CCIM Southwest Florida and 2025 President.
Buenos dias, everybody. Edie Button, Castro Strategies, Business Coaching and Consulting, and representing Southwest Florida Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning, Tony Loppe with Sanibel Captiva Beach Resorts, representing the Tourist Development Council.
Good morning, Angela Fisher with Junior Achievement of Southwest Florida, a member at large.
Lee Ford at large, Southwest Florida Impact Partners.
Mary Gentile, LQ Property Management at large.
Good morning, Victor Gonzalez, Minnesota Twins.
Good morning, Joseph Janashka, Gulf Coast Business Bank at large.
Good morning, Bev Larson, ERA Lahaina Realty, member at large.
Christine Sardina, Tri-County Apprenticeship Academy, Executive Director, member at large.
Chris Spyro, Spyro and Associates, large member.
Sean Smith, Boston Red Sox.
Denise Vidal, LCEC, member at large.
John Wright, Sanibel Captiva Community Bank.
Good morning, Matthews Walk with Owen Ames Kimball, member at large.
Good morning, Bill Johnson, Executive Director, Horizon Foundation.
Okay, thank you very much. The tardy Holly Smith, City of Sanibel. I'll say that before my friend up at the dais says that for me. And past president of Horizon Foundation.
Okay, great, and we're good to go. All right, let's start with the, continue on with the chair's reports. My goodness, right? So, despite the significant disruption of 2 hurricanes, we put on an incredible Industry Appreciation Awards. So, again, congratulations to the entire team for putting this together. And right after those 2 hurricanes that hit us, our committees and task forces, again, despite the disruption, continued to move forward. For example, our Supplier Diversity Committee, led by Karen Moore, is co-hosting a procurement event with Enterprise Mobility. And they were one of our finalists in the Supplier Diversity category. So it's probably about a 6-hour event that's going to take place on December 6th. Another exciting event, our STEM to Career Task Force led by Shelby Bauckham is leading, you've probably heard about this, and coordinating an AI-HI high school competition in collaboration with the Edison Awards. 3 teams out of 200 students, there'll be teams of 3 to 5 students. They'll be collaborating on a challenge that we put forward as Lee County. And the challenge is generally, we're not going to have enough of a workforce over the coming years. What are some ways, some innovative ways that we can solve for this? So our high school students are actually going to be in teams working through this. And we look forward to seeing what they come up with. But the top 3 teams, there's a cash prize. And the winning team will be presented at the Edison Awards Gala in April. So that's going to be pretty exciting. Let's see. We held a strategic planning retreat earlier this month led by Helen Edenfield. And we're continuing to calibrate and refine the 3-year strategic plan. You'll hear more about that from Helen. And because of the bylaws work led by Richard Hagan, we will transition to our new board January 1st. We don't have to wait until we have our annual meeting. And Helen Edenfield will be your chair. Ben Spence will be your vice chair. Matt Ropestorff will be your treasurer. And Molly Scott, new to the team, is your secretary. Okay, well, with that, let's move on to our foundation report from President Mark Stevens.
Thank you, Dr. Manaya. Yes, that picture has not been updated. The young folks in my office call that my catfishing picture. I had no idea what that even was. But as I walked in this morning, Nancy informed me that this was my last meeting, and she was like really smiling about that. So she said she gave me a seat up here. But no, one of the big things we're doing now is going through our transition period. Dr. Guido Manaya will be taking over. We have an unbelievable board at the Horizon Foundation. So as we conclude hurricane season, I guess we conclude my tenure as well. So I don't know which one that people will celebrate more. But anyway, so just a couple updates. Piggybacking on what Dr. Manaya said about the industry appreciation, I'm so glad that we continue to have that. I think that was an uplifting event for the entire community. 650 people recognizing 27 incredible businesses right here in Lee County. And it amazes me every year when I get an opportunity to look in depth at these companies that otherwise I wouldn't even know existed and what's going on in our own backyard. And then we also Lifetime Achievement Award to Bob Koenig, who served this organization very well for years and years. So. And I guess the last thing I really have to talk about is our goals, our financial goals. So currently we're at our goal is $575,000. We're like right there. So Bill and I will be panhandling in the back as you leave to push us over those goals. So also, as I mentioned, you know, our board is just a fabulous board and how they conduct business. But I also want to recognize Bill, who once again was nominated as the top 30 nonprofit CEOs in our county. So congratulations, Bill. And our very own Deanna Giraldo, who is now a Fort Myers City Council Ward 2. So congratulations. Thank you.
All right, and we'll continue with a report from Mr. Talmadge, Economic Development Office.
I'll keep this short, but the most important news we have to talk about is the county has retained its FEMA discount, and that was we were notified yesterday. And congratulations to Cape Coral and to Estero and Bonita as well for they've done the same. So that's fantastic for everybody. Y'all all have seen these Amazon stories, so that's a big plant. Every worker there will be eligible for a 4-year college scholarship to FSW or FGCU after 6 months on the job. So and they're starting at 22 hours of pay. So we expect there'd be a line of people waiting to work there. There's 2 other facilities that they're building as well. One is a same-day facility off of Mielke, and the other is a bulk distribution facility off of Tree Line. So that will give them a workforce of about 5,000 people here. So with that, I will turn it back to Guido.
Great. Thank you, John. Thank you. And again, since we missed 1 or 2 meetings throughout the year, we have 2 nonprofits that are going to share their stories with us. And what I'll do is I'll introduce them both, and then we'll have Catherine Kelly that's going to join us first. And as you may know, she's founder, president, CEO of the Heights Foundation, the Heights Center, and serving the Harlem Heights community, a severely distressed neighborhood in South Fort Myers. She founded the organization in 2000 and has grown it to provide over 400,000 service hours annually to at-risk kids. Again, one of my favorite nonprofits. And then we also have Abdul Muhammad II, Chief Growth Officer for Quality Life Center. And Abdul brings over 25 years experience as an executive leader, brand growth strategist, digital marketer, speaker, life coach, and mindfulness facilitator. And as you may know, for nearly 30 years, the Quality Life Center, an organization that provides at-risk children with the tools they need to make a difference in arts, character, and education. Again, you may know Mr. Muhammad, his father, and I would say as phenomenal as Mr. Muhammad is, Abdul Muhammad II is more like the 3.0 version. So we look forward to hearing from both Catherine and Abdul. Catherine, you want to join us? Sure, yep.
Thank you, Guido. Speaking of catfishing, I don't know where you found that photo, but it's only 25 years old, and I have updated it to one that's only 10 years old. So I really think we should have grabbed that one. But thank you. I'm really thrilled to be here today. A lot of faces in this room that I know. I was going to say old faces, but I meant old friends, just old. I am incredibly privileged to be able to work in the Harlem Heights community. It's a low-income neighborhood off of Gladiolus Drive. If you live here, you probably know where that is. 25 years ago, when I started the foundation, only 20% of the residents in Harlem Heights had graduated from high school, an abysmal number, a terrible number. And we've been working for 25 years to help kids get a decent education because our mission is to build self-sufficient families. So I am preaching to the choir here. And what we realized is for a lot of families in Harlem Heights, to graduate from high school was a high bar, a very high bar, and a very high goal that their families set. And so we have come alongside families to make that happen. And now over 87% of the residents of Harlem Heights have graduated from high school, which is a great number. And we realized we actually set that bar too low because our mission is to build self-sufficient families. To be self-sufficient, you have to have a decent job. And we want the residents of Harlem Heights to have a decent job because we want them to be able to support their families, support their community, pay their taxes, lead a productive life and a purposeful life. And so how do we do that? And for us, once we realized that, wow, we have all of these young teenagers and young adults graduating from high school, and not everyone is college bound. And again, I'm preaching to the choir because I know there are some of you in this room that did not go to college. And yet, you're very successful in your career. And so, peeling back the onion, we realized, okay, if they're not going to go to college, how do they get a decent job? And so we started looking at career tech and vocational and skilled labor force. Reconnected with my friend John Talmadge, who helped us get new market tax credits years ago when we built our first building in the neighborhood, and really schooled myself up on what all y'all already know, and that is the projected job growth in our area, that 7 out of 10 of those jobs are going to require a credential past high school. And the gap that we need to fill is this big. Boy, did Hurricane Ian shine a light on that. And so for us, we started looking at what does career tech look like, and does it make sense for us? Doing a lot of research. We spent 2 years researching this project to make sure it was the right initiative for us. Looking at what's being taught here, where are the waiting lists for skilled job training, what are the graduation numbers, and then what can we do? And out of that, we landed on 14 disciplines. Some of them are anecdotal, and those are the construction trades. So we are going to build a career tech school in the Harlem Heights community, and in that school, we will have the following disciplines. In construction trades, there will be plumbing, electrical, HVAC, 2 welding labs, small appliance repair, marine engine repair, and automobile engine repair. That's all on the first floor of our building, and the second floor is the healthcare floor, and that will be CNA, LPN, home health care, long-term health care, medical coding, medical assisting, legal assisting. So we have several disciplines that we'll be teaching, all industry credentialed at the end. And one of the things that we've done well in the Harlem Heights neighborhood is come alongside families, wraparound services, to stand in the gap with them for probably things that they didn't learn at home necessarily, that some of us did learn at home. And so we will be doing the same thing with our students at the new Career Tech School. So I have to do a shout out to my team that's here, because let's see, our architect is here, our construction manager is here, I'm sure some of our engineers are here, our great resource from the Lee County Economic Development Council is here. So, we have surrounded ourselves with some really smart people. The time frame for the project is we hope to break ground in March, and you're all sitting down. I needed to be, because it's a $42 million project. We have very quietly raised $24 million. We're at 57%. We hope to be at about 60 to 65% by the end of this year. We plan to break ground in March and have bulldozers on site in March. Where's OAK? Yes, they've committed. Bulldozers on site in March. Yes. And it's a little over a year and a half build, and so the goal is that we'll start classes in 2026, fall of 2026. That's it. Did I miss anything? Thank you so much. And stay tuned.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Catherine. Very impressive. Cool.
And if you want to get involved, please contact Catherine directly, either as a resource or other.
That was great. Thank you, Catherine. And it was great to learn about all of the resources so needed in the community, and I look forward to working with you and helping create that pipeline from the communities that we serve. Thank you. My name is Abdul Muhammad. It's a pleasure to be with all of you today. Just want to first start with a little bit of gratitude to the Horizon Council, to Dr. Manaya, to my great and dear friend over here, John Talmadge, Warren Balcom. You guys saw the picture up there, Mr. Muhammad. That was actually him 20 years ago. No, I'm just kidding. But many times I am stopped now that I'm here. People who think they know me and think they're talking to my dad, that he went away to do a little surgery or something. I don't know. But as I do look around, I see Shelby Balcom here, who went to high school with me, so she knows I'm the real deal. So we've been around in the community, if you've heard. My father started this over 30 years ago. We moved from New York City, Harlem. It's a rough growing up there. Not the Harlem that it is now with Whole Foods there in the middle, but the Harlem with crack rock and bullets whizzing by. That's how I grew up. Anyway, we moved here for a safer, better place. Landed here in Lee County, Florida. And in the community we went to, we recognized that it's similar situation. Sunnier down here, but bullets were still whizzing by and there was still violence on the street. And as my dad looked around and said, we could complain about these things, or we can stand in and make change. Yeah, and it always inspired me. And Quality Life Center stood for the youth, a protection, a safe zone. Now, I can barely see you guys because I'm a short guy, small guy. Now I have a little bit more confidence so no one messes with me, but when I was a little kid growing up, I didn't have the muscles and the confidence. I used to get picked on. And I would come home and would really depress me. It made it difficult for me to study, made it difficult for me to eat, made it difficult for me to fit in. I was already a black kid in Estero High School. There's about 60 of us at the time. And I was bussed, like many of the kids here. And we're talking 1990s. We're not even talking right now. So just imagine how it was then. And you see how divisive things are now. So just imagine back then. This little squirrely kid from New York trying to fit in, and then having that take place. So my dad looked and said, he's a little bit shorter than me, like you guys said, 3.0. I got about 3 inches on him, if you can believe that. But my dad served for the Army. Even though my dad was short, my dad was a bad butt. And when he went and trained in the Army, he learned martial arts. He served in Okinawa. He learned that martial arts self-discipline. He learned that through self-discipline, you're able to empower yourself. You're able to have self-control. You're able to feel the true power that God, Yahweh, Jehovah, the universe, whatever your belief is, put in all of us. That no matter what race, place, face you have, it's right here, inside you. And when you connect to that, those other external forces seem to just fade away. And you start to tap into the collective energy that unites us and empowers us. And Quality Life Center understood that to reach the children, to empower the children like me. Now, I had a lot of glitches here. What you see here went through a lot of glitches, 30 years of Quality Life Center training and understanding that it starts with personal transformation first. And then once you transform what's inside of you, you have the ability to affect all those around you. And so personal and community transformation became the mission and the vision of my father, understanding that regardless of where you move, you can never change the environment unless you change yourself. And Quality Life Center is committed to that change and committed to aligning ourselves with people who are smarter, better at doing what they do. And I played football for Estero High School, and Joe Hampton always used to tell me, he's like, come on, Abdul, you got to get in there and just get in the lane, son, get in the lane. And so we've understood that we sit in our lane and we follow coach. And when Dr. Manaya introduced me years ago to the Horizon Council, it opened up and represented to me unlimited possibilities as I looked at that sun and that horizon. Unlimited possibilities, horizon, unlimited possibilities is what the Horizon Council stood for me. And as I stand here in the hope that that reflection has for me and the people who are struggling that were like me and look like me, I understand that it's not just education. Because I went away, went to University of Florida, got a full ride, made my money, and I told my dad, I ain't gonna be poor like you, Pops. I gotta make that money, baby. The people will be there, I gotta make that money. But full circle, I went around and I made that money, and my heart was empty. I was making a lot of money working on Thanksgiving, not able to eat my mom's, who has struggled and never made more than probably $60,000, $70,000 a year. And I'm sitting here making $500,000 working for an ad agency, not able to eat her macaroni and cheese because they're on me about a freaking report. And I think I'm the man driving with my BMW, understanding that I wasn't free, understanding that the money, it's got to be more than that. That's when I realized that what my dad had was far more valuable than what I thought I had. Community, right? And when I stand around and I came back here, I look around in my community, Shelby, Dr. Manaya, you people that were here for my dad, the county, the commissioners, the mayor, people who have been here. And as we strengthen our relationships, we understand that it's not just about the education, but we have to have mental toughness, right? Before the wealth, you have to have the mindset. And my dad in high school gave me a book, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, that changed my life. And it started me on this entrepreneurial journey that has me reflecting your greatness that we see here, this horizon, this possibility, this hope. And we're on a mission right now to create sustainability. And we received $2 million from McKinsey Scott this year for our nonprofit, which is a huge accomplishment for us. And thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And with that, we're investing in Lee County just like you all are investing in Lee County. We're putting our money where our mouth is, and we're showing what my dad taught me all the time. You start with yourself. And we're taking $1 million of that money, and we're putting it in an endowment fund to create sustainability so that we don't have to beg, borrow, and scratch every year like other nonprofits. I'm going to take what I learned in the corporate world and what I have successfully been able to do. I started a company my senior year at the University of Florida, a web development company, Anatron Media Technologies. And 10 years later, I sold it to a $1 billion ad agency. And I'm going to take that information and I'm going to show every freaking kid in Lee County that grew up like me that there is hope. And we have guidance, and we have people like the Horizon Council, like Lee County, like Florida Gulf Coast University, who has been here and is committed. And you all, I'm asking you all to help me with this charge. It's called the 5 and 5 campaign, and we're trying to raise that $1 million endowment fund to $5 million in 5 years, and I need your help so that we can continue to create 3.0s like me that come back to the community and that are aligned with what Lee County needs. And we know our job, and our job in the community is clear. Our job is to engage, to educate, and to activate the communities that we serve that have been historically challenged. Thank you.
Wow. Two incredibly inspiring nonprofits and leaders working in our community. I think the future is in good hands. So now our presentation, we're going to connect with another exciting topic, and we're going to be talking to Jeff Mielke. So have your questions ready, and Pamela Johnson. First, I'll introduce Jeff and Pamela, and then we'll turn it over to the panel. So Jeff has been the Executive Director of Lee County Sports Development Department since its creation in 2003, and in his tenure there, it's grown by 500%, right? There's more about his bio in your package. Pamela, with more than 28 years of leadership experience in the travel and tourism industries, seasoned marketing executive known for a fresh perspective, collaborative mindset, and dedication to enhancing the visitor experience. Her commitment to driving sustainable tourism growth has strengthened Lee County's reputation as a world-class destination and contributes to its economic vitality. All right, with that, I'll tee up their presentation, and we can get started.
Pamela's going to go first.
Yes, Pamela's going to go first. UCB. And there you go. Here you go. Perfect.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It's an honor to be here with you this morning, and thank you, Dr. Manaya and Horizon Council and John for inviting me today. I think every now and then we come to give a little tourism update, which is a really good news story in our community, and so I'm here to share that with you this morning. By the way, I'm going to make my presentation brief because I know who the real MVP of this morning's presentation is, and that's Jeffrey Mielke. And so I don't want to take up too much of his time because I know that lots of people have questions for him about sports. So tourism, who are we? The Lee County Visitor and Convention Bureau. We are the lead marketing and promotional agency for Lee County, governed by the Board of County Commissioners, also the Tourist Development Council and our county administration. We are funded by the 5% TDT, Tourist Development Tax, or what we commonly refer to as the bed tax on short-term accommodations in Lee County. So anything rented 6 months or less, whether it's a hotel, vacation rental, apartment, whatever it is, anything 6 months or less, is supposed to remit TDT to the Lee County Clerk of Courts, and they do watch. A lot of people, and also a lot of people ask me about Airbnb. Does Airbnb pay TDT? Yes, they do. They have a contract with the Lee County Clerk of Courts, all the other short-term rental agencies as well. We brand the destination as Fort Myers Islands, Beaches, and Neighborhoods, and there could be a whole presentation on that, but that is how we brand the community. We know we represent, over, 6 different municipalities, unincorporated areas. That's how we brand. The VCB team is 33 people, covering everything from marketing, which I'll share a little bit about today, but to visitor services at the airport, RSW. We work very closely with the Lee County Port Authority. There are about 130 full-time volunteers, with volunteer ambassadors at the airport, and so those are managed by the Visitor and Convention Bureau. Just want to talk a little bit about, where we are, and I think everybody knows this because as a community, we've all experienced this in terms of the value of tourism. So obviously, since the pandemic and also followed by Hurricane Ian and subsequent storms, tourism has been down. That's nothing, that's no big news story. The good news story I will share with you in the next slide because we're on our way back. But these numbers, and by the way, some of these numbers are calendar year numbers, and our tourist tax revenue is a fiscal year number, so from October 1 through September 30th. So obviously we lost a lot during Ian. However, the good news is we are on our way back. So I like to, you see these bar charts, starting with FY19, I would like to name that as normal. FY20, pandemic. 21, Florida open, rest of the world closed. FY22, a very good year. Florida continues to be open. However, we all know what happened late September in 22, followed by FY23, the result of Hurricane Ian, $36 million. However, with this close of the fiscal year, we're back at $44.3 million in terms of TDT. So that exceeds our last normal year, which was 2019. That 5% I talked about, where does that money go, or how is that money allocated? It's allocated most of it goes to advertising and promotion, so that's our operational budget as well, but that's mostly spent in advertising and promoting the destination. 26.4% is beach and shoreline. Those are projects that are used to enhance beach renourishment, beach parks, those types of activities. And I will leave Mr. Mielke to talk about the stadium facilities at 20%. We, as you know, we have 2 spring training facilities here. He'll talk about that a little bit more. What are the benefits to tourism? And I like to talk about the resident benefits because anytime you talk about tourism and what it means, when I talk to neighbors and tell them what I do, well, first thing they want to talk about is, traffic. Visitors are responsible for all the traffic. That's not exactly true. Certainly, we are a growing community, so that is why we have the traffic issues that we have. Visitors tend to come, kind of stay put where they are. We have a seasonal resident community that comes and is here and takes advantage of lots of things that we have to offer in this community. So I kind of blame them. Anyway, that's the benefits to tourism, I think, far outweigh. One of the great things is our great airport, RSW. The benefit is air service. So over 71% of people who visit this area fly here. I mean, we're so far down, right? So you fly here, 71%. And so air service development is really very much connected to everything we do. It's connected to the economic vitality of the area. I've seen air service, I've been here a while, and I've seen air service grow tremendously. I have a slide on that shortly. And then, of course, it's invested back into beach and park facilities. Ad valorem taxes do not pay for that. That's the TDT that pays for those things. The rebuilding of that of a bridge, obviously FEMA money and some TDT will be invested in that. And then, of course, in Florida, there's no state income tax. Florida, I think 80% of its revenue is derived from sales tax, and visitors pay into that as well. What's the demographic profile of our visitor? Not anything you don't know. Median age 50, which I used to think was a little old, but no longer. I don't think that anymore. 50's good, 50's young, 50's young. Median household income, of a little 108,000, married, college educated. Where do they come from? So this is really interesting. So that 33.8% in the middle, when I first got here many, many years ago, Midwest. We're Midwest area. We are still Midwest area. But that Northeast and Southeast up over to Texas quadrant has significantly grown. And I credit that to the great air service, the connectivity we have. Even that 8.4% on the West Coast, that's been steadily growing. And then usually that 6.2% Floridians in-state, that's typically during the summer months. Also, the international markets are really very important to us. International has been as high as 25% of our visitation. They come and stay longer and spend more money. The spend for international visitation is much higher, which is why we're always 6.3% of all of our available hotel rooms are open. Obviously, the gaps are in the coastal areas. Boca Grande just recently, with the last hurricane, the Gasparilla Inn is they're going to open, but they're not open yet. Fort Myers Beach and Sanibel, we are really seeing some good news stories there, but obviously not back to where they are. But this is just the latest. Now, we have had some hotels who have opened. So we're standing at about 15,000 hotel rooms. This really is not also taking into account vacation rentals, which is a huge portion of our market share. A couple of new projects that we're getting. I'm seeing a lot of extended stay products being built in our area. When I compare it down south to our neighbor, obviously there's a lot more luxury product being built. They have 2 Ritz-Carltons, a JW. They're going to have a 4 Seasons, so it's a little bit different. But I'm very happy. We're very happy to see development coming back. Now, I'm just going to take you through a few of the developments that are being proposed for Fort Myers Beach. And I will say it with a caveat that these are proposed developments, that they have to go through an LPA process. You may have, been reading about some of these projects in the news because they go through an LPA process, the local planning agency, and then they have to go to town council for approval. So with the exception of this first one, Myerside, none of these others have been approved yet. But we're really excited about what's going to happen Fort Myers Beach and Sanibel as things start coming back. You've heard about Seagate Development Group and what they're planning for the former Red Coconut project. Neptune Inn, we're very excited about this hotel project. Pink Shell Beach Resort, they're going forward with building a smaller condo hotel. Arches Bayfront, again, this is just these are just renderings, but we're very excited about what could potentially happen here. And then London Bay, everybody I think has heard about them, and they purchased the old Outrigger Beach Resort property. So it's going to be, we have a lot to look forward to, I guess is the message I'm trying to present. I know we've been through a lot, but I think what's coming is going to be very exciting. Will it be different? Yes. it will. I don't know that we'll ever have the same number of hotel rooms on Fort Myers Beach anymore, but we'll definitely have vacation rentals, probably higher end vacation rentals. The price point will probably change, but again, we'll see. So we're a marketing agency, and a marketing agency within a government agency, which is really interesting. But I wanted to share a little bit about where we are right now. So obviously, right after Hurricane Ian, we developed this roadmap as to how we're going to get back. And right now, we're in the excitement phase. Basically, most of our properties have reopened, as I said, 76%. But confidence, customer confidence, some people forget really quickly, like, was there a hurricane? And then some people are like, so is the area still very devastated? So getting that marketing message out, to, what's the status of our destination? What's the status of the islands? And can I still do the things that I used to do? What is there to do? You saw the images of the pier being down and everything. So people, making sure we're getting that marketing message out there and letting people know this, the status of the area is very important. And so we created this destination declaration right after the hurricane, just to say what it is that we truly believe in. And I'm just going to show you a really quick video, what that declaration is all about.
Beaches and neighborhoods of Fort Myers are unstoppable. They're bigger than any map can hold. Because we believe this is more than just a place. We carry Fort Myers with us, hold it close, and lift it up. We find balance on paddleboards and tranquility among the trees. We watch for dolphin jumps and manatee crossings and find joy in seeing something new on the water. We believe in sticky fingers and brain freezes, high fives, and holes in one. We'll forget today's plans to make lasting memories. We enjoy cold drinks in the shade and hot music on stage. We savor local eats and mouth-watering treats. We applaud sunsets and collect seashells at sunrise. We believe bridges reach across more than water, and boardwalks connect us to the past. We believe in the spirit of nature and the triumph of renewal, and that everyone here finds their version of paradise.
Our destination declaration, and it's what we believe this destination is all about, and what the message we try to get out to visitors. Just real quickly wrapping this up, we've got 11 webcams situated around the community, which have over 1.7 million views. People can take control of the webcams, and we really saw it used a lot during the last couple of storms, actually, to take control, to just kind of check out the views. We're very big in terms of social media and how we reach people there, trying to make sure that we're highlighting all the attractions, the different things that we're different things you can do in the area, and the different neighborhoods in our community. We are also very big in terms of placemaking. So we have a partnership with the Fort Myers Mural Society, and we have 6 murals throughout the area. The most recent one in Lehigh Acres, and they're just places where people can really get a feel for the destination, have some have a little social content maybe that they will post and brag about to their friends. We just started a brand new campaign. It's called Just Feels Right. The brand architecture of that campaign is, our area is relaxed, adventurous, we're connected, we're playful, and we're curious. We just debuted it a few weeks ago. You can find a little bit of, here's some of the print executions for the Just Feels Right campaign. And you can find all of this at leevcb.com. We have our performance dashboard on there, our annual plan, TDC meeting minutes, that sort of thing. What's next? One of the things I did promise to talk about with John is we are embarking on a new initiative in terms of medical tourism. What we are is just at the very beginning stages, working with economic development, medical tourism. So what do people think about when they think about medical tourism? I think they think about people traveling, mostly Americans traveling outside of the United States or outside of their state for, most people tend to associate it with cosmetic procedures, but there's a lot of people who travel for cancer treatments, orthopedic surgeries. In a lot of countries, you can't be seen right away. So we're really trying to, it's an $11 billion industry as of 2017. We're trying to look to see what do we have, what are the assets we have. I know obviously Lee Health, but we have a lot more, we have new healthcare providers coming into the area, very excited about the proton therapy organization that's opening in Bonita, I think either this month or next month. But what are the assets in our area that we can really grab onto and promote, and again, create more revenue for these businesses? So that's, I think I'm a little bit over, Jeff. I'm sorry, but thank you very much. And I'd like to introduce my colleague, Jeff Mielke.
Well, good morning. So first of all, I want to just show appreciation to Pamela. She is, many of you recognize her face. She served as the executive director of the Economic Development Office for a while. She was the deputy director of that organization and the Visitor and Convention Bureau and our office for quite a while. And I consider her our number one partner when it comes to getting things done. So Pamela, thank you again for everything. So, presentation is going to be somewhat brief, but I want you to walk away with two key words, and neither one of them is sports. One of them is partnerships, and now all of a sudden I can't think of the other one. Gosh, I'll think of it in a second. My boss is sitting here laughing. So, speaking of partnerships, I always introduce him as my boss, and he says, stop introducing me as my boss. We're partners. We're trying to get things done together. So I just want to say, the other one is placemaking. So partnerships and placemaking are the two things. Please remember. But back to partnerships. Our county leaders are our partners in everything that we do. When it comes to John and Pamela and our office working together, collaborating on everything we do, we couldn't do that without the direction of our elected officials and our bosses and partners. So thank you all for being here and supporting everything that we do. So as we go through talking about our year in review a little bit, we are going to continue to point out some key partnerships that make us able to survive. We are also a bed tax funded department, much like the Visitor and Convention Bureau, so we use those visitor taxes as they come in, and we operate a 3-person sports department, but it's really a 100-person team. And we all collaborate. And many people in this room are part of that team. So we're all trying to work together, move in the same direction, and using sports as the vehicle to not only generate new business in our community, but make this a really cool place to live, work, and play. So just here's a snapshot of our first 6 months of this year. Last year, in calendar year 2023, was historical for us. We filled 188,000 hotel rooms through amateur sports. That's not including our partnerships. Again, key word with the Red Sox and the Twins. So this year, from January to June, we have filled 70,000 hotel rooms. This number last year at this presentation was 74,000, so we're down a little bit. Sports tourism visitors that have come into our neighborhoods, into our destination, are exactly the same number, 72,000, around 73,000, with direct visitor spending. They are taking $29 million out of their pocket, spending it in our community, and then leaving it here for it to circulate around our destination. The reason Pamela helped me put together a presentation a couple weeks ago for a conference that was here in town. We used the Visitor and Convention Bureau's destination research company. What we're seeing is that the same number of people are coming into our destination. We actually have a few more events than we did last year, but the hotel room nights are down is partly because of the economy, the inflation. Our hotel rooms have gotten more expensive, and so me as a sports parent, I am staying one less night maybe on that weekend. I am thinking, you know what, I'm going to, instead of going up Friday and Saturday night and staying in a hotel, I'm only going to stay on Saturday because our pocketbooks are being pinched a little bit more than they ever have. So that is part of the reason why we're slightly down, I think, in hotel room nights sold. Some of our 2024 event highlights so far, I'd certainly want to point out our partnerships with the Boston Red Sox and Minnesota Twins, both who are in the room. Spring training is back to normal for us. We had some years where we had the COVID and the COVID restrictions, then we had the MLB labor dispute, and then we had a hurricane. And this last year, numbers were up. I believe we finished second and fourth in the Grapefruit League in attendance. I believe the Red Sox filled or generated about 150,000 spectators, 120,000 through the Twins. So that's 250,000 fans coming into our destination in March because we have these assets, because we have decided to spend bed tax dollars on spring training and made that a focal point of some of our placemaking efforts. So spring training numbers were great, and we expect the same next year. Partnership with the Mighty Muscles and with Parks and Recreation and with the Minnesota Twins, we hosted the FHSA Baseball State Finals. We have all 7 classes of high schools throughout the state coming into our destination over an 8-day period and crowning 8 different state champions. We've done that now 9 years in a row. We're about to sign a new 3-year contract, so that, again, it's good for our destination. It's a placemaking event for us, because if you live here and you go to high school here and your baseball team makes it to state finals, you're playing at home. You get to fill up the stadium with your home crowd and you get to sleep in your own bed. So we're proud of that as one of our placemaking efforts. We brought the Sun Conference baseball tournament here, which is an NAIA. Ave Maria down in Naples was our host institution. We continue to work with Perfect Game, which has just had an incredibly strong summer. Ice hockey events continue to grow down at Hertz Arena and with the Stadium. And we've gone from 3 to 4 ice hockey tournaments. I think now we're over a dozen. We're thrilled to welcome the return of the Captiva Triathlon, which had disappeared right after COVID, and it has come back this last year for the first time. And certainly we're wrapping up. Tomorrow is the last day of the Roy Hobbs World Series, which is a 5-week-long adult baseball that brings almost 300 teams from all over the world into our destination, and we're excited to have had them here. As we talked about last year at this same meeting, we are really heavy on international. You'll remember we put some slides up about Ireland, how we sponsored the Women's Softball World Cup in Dublin, and they are coming here. The women's national team is coming here over the Christmas holiday to train, and next year we're planning for them to be here for a 2-week-long as they're trying to qualify and get good enough to maybe qualify for the 2028 Olympic Games in L.A. But you can see the international efforts, the teams that we're drawing from are still strong. I will mention netball is, we explained it last year, but it's kind of like basketball without a backboard, and it is an international sport. Not many people play it in the United States yet, but next summer we have landed a North American it's North American and South American championships, and we're going to welcome 9 countries into our destination in August next year to compete in a netball event at Estero Recreation Center. Now we'll go and talk a little bit about our placemaking efforts. So our fundamental job is to fill hotel rooms through sports, right? Using bed tax dollars to do that. But through our partnerships and working with John and with Pamela and the Visitor and Convention Bureau, we've realized how critical placemaking and that word is to our destination, because placemaking not only takes the tourism that we're bringing in, but it takes events that make it exciting to live here, so that people who own businesses here and are trying to attract talent to our destination, they can point at things and go, hey, there are some really cool things in our destination to do, like spring training, like the Fort Myers Tip-Off, like the City of Palms Basketball Classic. And so we're trying to really push this placemaking idea to those of you in the room and in other places, because every one of you has a hand in that placemaking discussion as well. So let's go through a couple of our placemaking initiatives. When I say we, it is truly a team effort and a community effort to put all of these events on. So first and foremost, next week here on campus, thank you, sir, we will welcome the Fort Myers Tip-Off. And that is a college basketball event that has grown in about a 6-year time to be one of the top Thanksgiving week basketball tournaments in the nation. And on the men's side this year, you can see the logos. We've got Michigan, South Carolina, Virginia Tech, Xavier. Press release came out yesterday that just announced Michigan State and North Carolina will anchor next year's field. And this is on these events are on Fox and FS1. And part of that placemaking is raising the profile of our destination on national television. So every single live event is going to be, we get an inventory of commercials. We now also have made sure that FSW has a 30-second commercial to tell the world all the great things that are going on this campus, using sports as that method to get that word out. So again, trying to use sports as a placemaking tool and a business development tool. On the women's side, wow, this is an exciting field this year. You've got the national champions, South Carolina women coming, playing Iowa State on Thanksgiving Day on national Fox television. So if you turn your television on Thanksgiving in the afternoon, you will see Fort Myers being featured, and you will see number 1 South Carolina playing against number 8 Iowa State. And we all know the trajectory of women's basketball is just flying, and when we're trying to make sure that we're a part of that story and that we are we're telling a great story. Also Purdue, I know Sean, there you go, Sean Smith, our Red Sox is a Purdue grad. Also, the women from Michigan, Virginia Tech are also coming to our destination. So it will be a great week of basketball here on campus. I hope that if you don't have anything to do, if you want to get away from your family on Thanksgiving Day, there is a great opportunity to come here and see some phenomenal basketball. Well, before I jump into the man with the yellow hat, I also want to recognize our partnerships with the Red Sox and Twins. So not only do we generate $69 million of economic impact through our spring training efforts, but the partnership and the things that evolve out of that, and John, get ready to jump on your mic here because I'm going to ask you for some numbers. Not only do we get this amazing product that comes into our destination that showcases us as a spring training hub, but we also have partnerships layered in there. And over the last few years, we've been able to take sales and business initiative trips in partnership with those two teams to their home stadiums. And John and his team have put together site visit planners and investors and developers. And John has put together a number that these meetings have generated that has generated new business in that community. Is it $750 million? $265 billion. So you have this incredible amount of new business that's being found and discussed in our partnership places with the Red Sox and Twins. So again, we couldn't be happier to have such amazing relationships with those entities. And then finally, I want to say thank you to Adam and the Horizon Council Sports Group. We think a lot of people know what we do. Mr. Cody and I were just having a conversation yesterday in his office, and he mentioned the Fort Myers tip-off to us. Lee County staff person, and they had no idea what it was. And we have to continue to be ambassadors for all of these amazing opportunities, not only in sports, but visitation and the cool parks that we have to walk in and play in. And the people in this room are part of that ambassador program that has to continue to tell our message. So, Adam, thank you for leading the charge on that. So now for the really fun announcement, and many of you have probably already heard it, but how many of you have heard of the Savannah Bananas? See, not many of you. That's pretty wild. So when I was growing up, the man in the yellow hat had to do with Curious George, right? There's a new man with the yellow hat. And so the Savannah Bananas are an organization that is probably one of the hottest sports and entertainment groups out there. They're going to be seen by 2 million fans next year. There's a 100,000 long waiting list to get tickets. And thank you to the Boston Red Sox for leading negotiations with Savannah Bananas. They have chosen JetBlue Park next February to come for a three-game show, games, whatever, extravaganza. And if you're not familiar with what the Savannah Bananas are, and if we can turn the volume up a little bit, this is who they are.
Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, and potassium enthusiasts from around the world, tonight you have gathered here to witness something beyond your wildest imaginations. From Montana to Savannah, from the Isle of Man to Tokyo, Japan, the Banana Maniacs come from across the globe to witness this. This is not baseball. This is the crucible where the fastest, hungriest, and most entertaining players are forged. This is a game of the fans, by the fans, and for the fans. But this is not your granddad's pastime. This is not just another night at the ballpark. This game is baseball by birth, fruit by name, and an absolute worldwide phenomenon by the grace of God. This is the time you get on your feet and give me your voices. Because this is the greatest show in sports. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Banana Ball.
Pretty wild. So to get tickets, you had to enter into a lottery by November 1st, and you will find out in a few weeks probably if you were one of the lucky ones that got a ticket. But again, over 100,000 people on this waiting list, 2 million people. This is one of the only spring training or minor league facilities they're playing in. Most now are in major league ballparks. They're playing in the Miami Marlins Stadium and in football stadiums now. So they're selling out 60 to 80,000 seats in these big venues. So we're very fortunate to have them here. And Sean, congratulations for landing that event here. So back to my 2 letters, partnerships, and what was the other one? Placemaking. There we go. I hope that's what you walk away here, that sports is just so much more than just ball being played on a field. It is about business. It's about our community. It's about everybody in this room. And I hope everyone will continue to support it. And thank you, Robert and Mark, for being here and supporting us as well. So I don't know. We've gone way over, so probably no questions.
2 questions.
2 questions.
Anybody have a question? It's more of a comment than a question, but Yeah, one more. Yep.
Yeah, just a quick question in regards to tracking the hotel rooms. You know, and many of the participating hotels are part of the sports organizing committee. How are you able to track, and are you going to be able to start to track vacation rentals? Because you say, you know, a lot of people will come in and they'll just get a house together. And you see that as a trend. Are you looking at tracking that? Because that's also, when I look at those number shifts, I know a lot of it is probably due to not being able to track something. And I think we need to really capture that, because those are bed tax dollars that are coming in and refunding. So how are you looking to kind of diversify your tracking to make it more accurate in years to come?
Yeah, that's a great question, because you're right. So many families now are gravitating towards vacation homes, especially in the summertime when our events are not just Saturday and Sunday events, they're Monday through Sunday events. So what we do is we use our local housing service here that does a good job. If they book the vacation rental, we know it, and it shows up on paper. But what we've also asked each of our partners, if they're not using, let's say Perfect Game, for instance, if they're not using our local housing system, we ask them to turn in basically a player or a coach survey on where people stayed, and that is not a scientific method at all, but it is the best we can do right now. We're trying to get every piece of data that shows, did you stay in a hotel room, did you stay in a vacation home, and if you did, where is that vacation home? So we're trying to refine that better, but we do ask for the information from each tournament manager.
Great. Well, thank you. One last one.
Quick follow-up question on that. But don't we collect a bed tax for everybody that stays for less than 6 months? So can we track the bed tax and where that's coming from? Do we have
Yes. Yes, and there's limited data we can get from the clerk of court's office, but we do employ a lot of different data resources that give us visitor origin data. And as a matter of fact, for vacation rentals, we are able to tell where they're coming from, how long they're staying, similar to Smith Travel or Star data. So yes.
Great. All right, and we're going to have, they'll be here for other questions. Let's just quickly check, is there any membership input that we want before we close? Surely, Dr. Robertson.
Well, good morning once again. I just couldn't let the day go by without making one. This is our 5th year for the tip-off. Looking forward to that next week. Glad to be the host of this again. But I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that tonight, our ladies volleyball team, who, by the way, this little thing I'm wearing, 2-year back-to-back national champions. Yeah. Thank you. I'm not playing in it, so yeah, you're welcome. But I happen to have a bracket with me here tonight. We made the Final Four last night. We beat Wyoming, Eastern Wyoming Wednesday night. We beat Utah State last night. Tonight we're in the Final Four, and I hope tomorrow night at Buckets at 8 o'clock, where there's a watch party, we're going to be playing for our 3rd back-to-back national championship. So please come out and support your local team and come out to the tip-off. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Robertson. One more over here. Member input.
Hey, I'm Julie from the Medical Society, and because of Helene and Milton, our 2nd annual golf tournament got moved to tomorrow. I actually have 8 free tickets to play at the Forest for a 1 o'clock scramble that was donated by Florida Cancer Specialists. So if you want to play golf tomorrow, I have 8 free tickets.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Any other member input? Going once. All right. Thank you so much. Again, thank you to our host today, Dr. Robertson and FSW at Florida State University. All right. And we are adjourned.